Okay. Got out of work early today. Thought I'd put some time into the hobby. Hello everyone. Maybe this will work better if I turn the microphone on. I think so. Yeah. Alright, good afternoon guys. It's Friday, August the 16th. And I know I said I would do it on camera, but my cameraman was on strike. My son did not want to help me seal this guy outside and film it. It's not a big deal. We'll have other opportunities, but as you know, I've been working on this guy for a little while now, and I'm happy with the way he's turned out. He's sealed and ready to get some base on him. Last time, you know, there goes the ice cream man. That's great. We never used to have an ice cream man here before. And now that my son has graduated high school and does not scream and run out for the ice cream man, he has started coming by more often. So that'll be my my stream music, is the ice cream man music. There you go. Speaking of which, well, not speaking of that, but so yeah, so I took this guy out after you saw in the last video where we sealed him up. There's still a dot down there by his foot that I'd really like to get rid of. I don't know if you can see it in the camera of white that's showing through, but I think I'm gonna just throw some black wash in there and see if I can hide that particular spot. Let's try that real quick. Some Nuln Oil. Get my my little Citadel brush, and load this guy up. Oh, well, before I do that, you notice I put tape on my pillbox. This is my favorite pillbox because I added some green stuff to the top to take the dent out, so that when I put my Mini on top, there is no indentation that I have to deal with. I'm on the radio.
It's an emergency, man.
Oh, we have an emergency, so here we go. Get this in here, just cover up that white dot. I find that after I do some, there you go, there's some more white around here I want to get rid of. And this kind of merges with the texture that we've got going on in the ground here. Oh, I need a napkin. All right. I think we've satisfied that particular thing. What I want to do today is put some grass on the base, because I want this guy to be in the forest. Close my wash. And I've never used these guys before, and I'm debating on whether to use, I think I want to put these for him. I just want it to be super lively. I picked this because when I do my elves I want it to be flowery, but I just want this guy to be in a lush green landscape. And I think this is the way to go. I think these might be too dry. We'll see. Never used them before. I'll open it up right here. Well, that was pretty easy. I think the self-adhesive which I don't trust. Right off the bat, I don't trust self-adhesive because I'm pretty sure I'm going to want to glue these guys on. Yeah, it looks like self-adhesive. And I'm not sure if I should put them on before or after the grass. Something tells me that it should go on before I put the grass on. I could probably blow the grass off after the fact. Maybe one of the small bits. Right? There you go. But look, it's going to be... Well, that just stuck right on. Yeah. I just like it already. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's gonna need some glue, and it's already falling apart. So, glue. Here's what we're gonna do for glue. We're gonna put some glue in this bottle cap right here. Some good old Elmer's. I don't know what you guys, there's another name for this. It's called well, anyways, Elmer's glue. Alright. Looks like it's a little watery, but it should be fine. And then I have a brush that I use only for this purpose. And it looks like I didn't clean that brush too well last time I used it, because it seems to be one stick of brush. Yeah. This guy right here. But I'll wet it in my little bin. Set this guy aside. Load this guy up. And so basically all I want to do, this stuff clears and dries clear anyways, so I'm going to put glue wherever I want there to be grass, right? So it's going to be all around these edges. Like so. Move this guy out of the way. I don't like the way that brush is working. I'm grabbing my other brush. That's too big. This guy. These are the brushes that came with old Testors paints. And I hate them for painting, but I used to use them for dry brushing, and then I started using them for applying this glue. Usually I glue this stuff on. Well, up until recently it's been rocks and sand and this grass, but I've been wanting to use tufts of grass and flowers for a while now. I'm putting on a lot. I'm not sure that this is the right amount. It can't hurt, I don't think. I don't think there's a way to do it wrong, as long as I don't get it on my mini, which is why I'm applying it with a brush. And I want to make sure I get in here by his legs, right, or his feet. I want to make sure that it looks like, so this mini came with a base, so it's not like I could apply him onto the base after I started, did a base up for him. So I'm kind of tied to doing this way for him. If he were in one of the newer minis, this is what they call pre-slot. If he was one of the newer minis that did not come attached to a base, I suppose it would be easier to do this. I have not yet. Have I done a mini? No, even the newer minis that I have, because I bought them used, they came attached to a base, and I did not snap them off. went ahead and primed and sealed everybody all together with base and all. So there's a little hole that's gonna come back later to bother me if I don't put some glue on it. Here's a piece here. I kind of, like I said, I wanted this to be a wooded, lush area that this guy is fighting on, and I think we're good. How about here? It looks like I missed a spot, and that's a lot of glue, and it's already dry. So I'll put that there. I get my tweezers. I don't know, any of my tweezers. And I think where I put this guy in the back, I kind of liked it, so I'm just going to load it up right there, and I will get my tweezers and press down on these flowers to get them to stick in place. Right? Now that I've done that, I got a box lid that I want to use to keep from making a mess. Look at that. Right? It's never a dull moment here at the Fleeco Paints. I got some kid yelling in the background.
I did not yell anything.
Yeah, what do you want?
I just came out of the bathroom. What do you mean?
Well, what do you say A for?
You're talking poop.
Oh. You want to fight right here on live stream?
Bro. Bro, dog.
Alright, it's gonna be me and you.
So, that thing.
I'm gonna paint you.
Watch out. Bust the cat. You're.
Yeah, alright. Alright, buddy. Let's see if that worked out right. I'm not sure. We'll see. For sure I can do this. Reuse the stuff I dropped. Just like that. If this was a bigger model, I'd use some sort of static device to get this grass to stand. But this is a tiny 25mm stand. I just want to cover my base. Cover my bases, get it? Right? Just like that. I'm kind of happy with that. I want to get more right here in the front of them. And I'll even take that brush that I used to dust them, and I'll brush the grass hairs up off the edge of the base. But I gotta be careful because that glue is still wet. But I do really like the way that shrubbery turned out. Let's see. Oops. That went the wrong way. Should I add another little tree? A little flower patch in front of him? I kind of think you would know better. Let's see if we got another little one that we can jam into the front here. You see that? Okay, from the side. It's a pretty big batch of flowers on there. You see a spot I can use some grass right there. Looks like there's not enough glue there. I'll dry my brush a little bit and try to come back after the fact. Let's see. Yeah, so as you can see there, right? This is not your typical rock formation that you see a lot online. You know, this terrible area. I think I'm done with the grass. Some I can get between his legs. There we go. Tab that out. I'm not gonna blow it out because this stuff is still wet. But I wonder if I can use maybe one tiny. That's not good, is it? Can't be. Is there another tiny piece of shrubbery I can add to this guy? I think it would be too much. It's the first time I use it. I don't know. I could put this guy. Let's see. If I put this guy. Yeah, see, after the grass, so you gotta put this on before you put the grass, because after it's just not gonna work. So it's gotta be something you do after the fact. Which means I'm kind of married to the way this guy is right now. And I'm fine with that. This is just something different. It's not my regular basing. If you've seen on the title page for my Twitch channel, it's those skeletons are all in muck with very little grass because of their undead theme. But this guy, although probably a bad guy, I just wanted to have super lively nice bright color. I think the figure juxtaposed with the color palette of the figure and the brightness of the field that he's on is just neat. And I'm kind of happy with this guy. I mean, I might even make a D&D character for this guy so I can play him, because I just think he's that cool. I didn't think he was that cool when he was unpainted, but now I'm pretty happy with this guy. I hope you like him. Feel free to leave a message in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'll post some pictures later on. And oh, one more thing I forgot to do. I found a detail on him after I sealed him up. He seems to have like a chain around his neck, sort of. And I want to go ahead and detail that. I almost forgot. So he's not done. I actually need to close this up, set it aside, reset this aside, and I can put this guy over here. All my extra parts and bits of grass that I'm not going to use, but in my area there is a bit of, I used a brass color on him for his belt, and there is a tiny little detail right under his chin that I'm going to paint with this Balthasar Gold. And I need a tiny little brush to do it. I'm going to use this guy right here, one of my favorite brushes actually. Let's check out this Balthasar Gold. It looks neat from the top view. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Once the Elmer's glue dries, it'll turn clear, and this will be a pretty nice Mini that I've had for 30 years, never painted it, never even really liked it, but just, I don't know, the more I painted him, the more I started to like him. I started to think about what his story might be. What was that little piece of plastic? Yes, I know, I need to get a wet palette. I'm not there yet. Alright, you can see my headlamp. So this is going to be really touchy because everything's already painted here. That's it. It's raised on the sculpt. So it's not that bad. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but he's got a tiny little chain right under his chin, and I wanted to match his belt buckle that I did for him, and that's what I've done. Now it looks like it connects both of his shoulder pads. Now I think I can say that this Ral Partha Antihero is finished after 30 years of sitting in a box. Well, that was a lot quicker than I remember, or not I remember, but that I thought it was going to take, but I'm very happy with them, and I'm going to set them aside now, let them dry, and I'm going to pick up a Mini that you might have seen in one of my previous recordings. These guys, these are Traveler miniatures from like the 80s. These are the only two I've got left. I had the box set when I was a kid, and if you remember, it was missing the top fin that I replaced with a piece of cardboard. As you can see, some of the card, I went back and tweaked some of that molding that I did there with the cardboard, so the primer's gone off. But now I got to decide what I'm going to paint this guy. Oh, not this guy, but I think it'd be easier for me to paint this first. I'm not sure what I should paint this guy, because the army guys are going to match the terrain. So if I wanted to say that this is a Martian type thing, I could do an orange, a matte orange, or you know what? Let's see what this guy looks like first. It's me thinking on my feet here, guys. Let me clean up my glue brushes and dry them up. Put that here. But this guy seems to be dry enough here. I think I threw this guy in upside down. Yeah, this guy goes this way. So he's working the controls. What is this? Well, it's blue stuff. I can just pull it off like that. Set it aside. Let's see. It's going to be something like this. Probably want to open it up so it's just more visible. I might even want to mark it, I'm not sure. But I do know that I want to work with that base. I think it's going to be flat like that. So this is one instance. Okay, so put this guy over here. Give me this guy. Come back up here. And I'm thinking it's military, so it's going to be gray. Did I get any grays from this? Mechanis standard gray. This might be what I'm going to start with. This Mechanis paint. I'm going to take this guy, and that's going to be the base for my rocket launcher. I just thought this was a weird rocket launcher, but I don't know. See what happens. Maybe it'll be like that other mini I just finished where I painted in one color, didn't like it, went back and changed the color, who knows. But we'll see. That's like a good military gray. I think it needs some more shaking though. Put this aside. Probably. I'll paint on this little guy like this. Let's just get rid of this guy. You know what? These are a dime a dozen. Put this guy right there. Load them up. I'll even dip them in water first. Yeah. Nice and thin. And I'm just going to cover this guy with paint. From the bottom here. Oh, that's dark. And it's probably going to get darker when it dries. I wonder how flat this paint is. It should make for a nice base color. Reminds me of the World War II German gray I used to use when I was a kid on my World War II models. It's like a naval. This is like darker than a naval gray though. Let's see. I'm just winging it. So, if he was on a red planet, which is what I had in my head, figured, and what's on the box, they're all painted red or orangish to match. Yeah, excuse me a second. Excuse me 1 second. Yeah, sorry about that, I had to cough. I did not want to cough in your ear. I'm trying to clean up the background noise when I do these streams, but it's not easy. Anyways, yeah. Nice and watered down. It looks like this side is going to be a little more watered down than the other side, but that's, like I said, oh yeah, so they're on the box, they're all orange, as if on Mars, right? And that's cool. I like it. I thought I was going to do that with this guy, and I still might do that with the soldier. It's just that, in truth, as an army guy, he's going to be the same color as the terrain that he's camouflaged for, so it make for a very boring paint job. Easy. And if you're painting an army of these guys, then I would say that's the way to go. But I'm just doing a little diorama. I mean, he might end up on an army of mine somehow, somewhere, but I'm just looking, like I said in my description for the channel, I'm just catching up on all the painting that I missed in the 90s, before I got all the responsibility and ran out of time trying to, you know, raise a family and stuff. And now that that's all gone to heck, well, some of it, not all of it, I'm back doing this, so. This is nice and calming for me. Hopefully it's nice and calming for you. I'll scoop up another wad of paint and drop it off in here, get some water, put it in there, just to thin it out. That's a lot of paint on my brush. I don't know if I want that. I do want to get this like this. There you go. There you go. Just this different gray on this assembly. You could probably hear my son screaming and playing video games in the background. I don't know if he's streaming now too. Looks like I've inspired him. So he's been streaming as well. I got him his capture card a few years back, but he didn't seem interested, as interested as I thought he would be. But now that I guess I've actually started streaming, he's seen how easy it is. I mean, and I'm not even high production like some of the guys you see online. I'm just, you know, you can see what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and maybe some you guys who've never done this before get inspired, or if you play Warhammer or Age of Sigmar or 40K and, you know, you're not sure about how to start, you know, you can see here that it's just a matter of starting. Practice and start, and you'll get better. And I know I'm not the best out there, that's for sure. I just like the way I do it. I like mine. My minis, the way they come out. I do have a very old school painting style, I think, because I did this in the 80s with enamels, and I'm using these water-based paints, which I think are great. Here's that new fin I put on there. Now he's painted. I don't think you'd ever know, unless I told you, that that's not a piece of the molded lead, that I actually glued on a piece of paper to make that top fin on that missile. This is impressive how much paint I'm using here. Let's see. Go like this. That's too globby. You can see that because it's hiding some of the details that I need to show. So I'm going to go back with some water and thin it right on the model. Alright. Clean this off. That's not good. Whatever I did there is not good. Now I got bubbles in my paint. I'm gonna need to let this dry. Try to get the bubbles out. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah. Alright, I need to relax a little bit. Maybe let this dry a little bit. So looks like the primer I used was Tamiya, which is almost dries. I like the way it dries on the model, but it seems to be, if the paint isn't thick enough, it seems to have the paint slip off the surface of the model, is what I'm seeing here. Alright. But it's just a matter of knowing what you're working with and adjusting or accommodating to those conditions, because I wanted the gray, the light primer, so that my colors would be lighter when I applied them. Interestingly enough, of course, the first thing I used was this dark gray, so that's neat. That's, I mean, what else are you going to do to this thing? I'm going to probably paint the doodads and what's-its on this control panel that he'll be working on the side. Here's a spot I missed. This is almost dry already. Alright. Now, I want to say that the missile happens from here forward, and that all this back here is just, yeah, is just part of the launcher. And the reason I'm saying that is because I'm going to go back and I'm going to probably dry brush some silver on the launcher part of this thing, just as to bring out some contrast and detail. I'm going to let it dry a little first. And I think I'm going to get some fresh water. My water's kind of dirty, so I'll be right back. All right, we'll leave it like that. I'll be right back, guys. Actually, yeah, get some fresh water. Yep, I'm back. Get some fresh water. Clean my brushes. This is probably dry enough for me to... What am I going to do with that bottom? I think I'm going to do it with an orange terrain. I think I really want to have an orange terrain. Do I have any other orange colors? Do I want to make any other orange colors? What happens? Let's see something. Let's see what happens if I paint. If I paint this orange, alright, let me thin it out a little bit. If I paint this orange, that doesn't matter because I'm going to cover that with stuff. So that won't matter. But if I paint that orange and then come over it with some red wash, I wonder what that's going to look like. Come over with some red wash and just, I should have waited for it to dry. Now I'm just mixing paints. Yeah, you can see the water and the wash lift up the orange. Let's try that again. If I paint this orange, right? I'm let that dry for a minute. Let's see what happens. See, I don't know, because then if I paint this guy the same orange, that's not going to work. But if I dry this guy, it's funny, when you want it to dry, it doesn't dry, and then this guy like dried right away. Right? Let's see, I'm just testing. Just experimenting. It's probably already. Yeah, that's pretty cool though. It's not dry yet. This is one of those times when I wish I had a hairdryer right here by my table. Meanwhile, I'm going to look and see what other color. Scrag Brown. What does Scrag Brown look like? It looks like it's never been opened. Wow, it's a nice light brown. But it's an orangish brown, so if I take it, looks like I have to up this thing and put it here. It's I like that. I like that a lot. It's like a dark reddish brown, which I have. Dilbo brown is 2. What's Rhinox hide? Scrag brown and Joe Carroll orange are in the color palette. Rhinox hide. This is a layer, so they're going to go on top. Then if I take this guy and go like this, and it looks like one of the moons. I mean, they're planets, alright. So basically I just made mud, but I think I know what I want here. I think I like it. No. It's only logical, but I'll scrape some of it off. Guess I already know what I want to do here. Alright. That's interesting because that made some texture. I've got my fingers dirty. Probably gonna need a new paper towel. Oh, somebody's watching. Hey, how you doing? Why don't you say hi in the chat? There you go. I'll turn the chat on. I don't know if that helps at all. Looks like the chat window covers a lot. Well, whoever that is watching, glad you're here. If you got any questions, need to know what it is we're doing today. If you missed the beginning of the video, we finished up this guy. We based him up and applied some Elmer's glue. We applied this flower deal back here and then the grass, and now we're just set them aside to dry. And then while he's doing that, it looks like he's already drying pretty good. While he's doing that, we just started another project here. Well, and we lost you. Oh well. So I'll say I'll put this guy here. I think I'm gonna go with the brown on them. Hold on a second, guys. So, anyhow, I'm going to start with the dark color on the bottom and the light color on the top. Oh, actually, I wanted to see this guy. This Rhinox. Rhinox is way dark. I think I used him yesterday on the other guy. This is too dark for what I want. The Rhinox is out. We're going to go with this guy. We're going to load up this brush, water it a little bit. Not worried about that. You know what? Turn this off.
What time are we gonna go?
I don't know, son. When I finish up what I'm doing here.
Well, we're gonna be there before people.
Yeah, we'll be there before 8. Yeah. Well, I already messed up and painted a piece of this rocket launcher. That's what I get for using a fat brush. But for this instance, I think the fat brush is the way to go. So I'm just gonna go up to the leg of this guy. It's not a smooth surface, so it's not really allowing me. And I know that I'm going to be adding material to the base after I put this on the base, because I want to bury this base that it came with into some existing material. So in order to do that, I'll have to bury it in whatever it is I'm going to use to create this base for this contraption. Yeah, batteries on my headlamp are running low, but it's probably good for you guys because it won't overexpose the video as I just push my brush up against the leg of the model to get that paint right where I want it. And since this guy is in obviously in some kind of dirt. It's going to be okay if some of that dirt comes up over, at least in my head. Boom. And then boom. And then boom. I think it's interesting how the leveler on the back side of this guy is buried in dirt. And that's how they made the model. This is another instance where I had this thing for 30 years in a box. And it just never called my attention to paint this guy. Especially not this. Most of my stuff was fantasy. We didn't start playing sci-fi RPGs till the early 90s. And by that time we were getting older, there was college, and then from college there was just surviving on the streets. And then from surviving on the streets to, I don't know, adult life. So when I was painting minis, this guy did not make the cut. But now I got a bright idea and thought I'd give him a shot, give him some life back. So you can see how the light colored primer shows through this base coat that I'm applying. It just lightens up the this thing. Let's see. I'm just globbing it on now. That's alright. Yeah. I kind of almost want to glue them to the base already, just so that I can locate it and do the whole thing. Because I'm not going to do much more to this thing. Right? So now I know that Scrag Brown is going to be the color of this planet. It's a nice orange. And I think that I'm going to use some, I don't have Milliput and I don't have plastic. So I want it to kind of look like he's in a crater. I've got my ideas on how I want to do that. Got a jar of dirt. Whoa! Got a jar of dirt and baking soda for this base that I think I'm going to add after I glue on that thing. So I'm going to probably need this guy and some of this guy over here. Alright. Put that like, where's my, oh, my favorite one is being used. So I'm going to take this guy, put him on there like so. Alright, and this guy is, and this guy's going to be like this. I'm not going to glue him on yet. I think this is dry enough for me to try to pull off. Yep, that worked really well. Now I gotta get the positioning right. That looks kind of cool. It doesn't look like it's focused, huh? A little bit out of focus, guys. Should I play with that a little bit? No. That's too much. It looks good. I don't know what I did, but it looks good. So, yeah, I used to have the autofocus on. I would never focus on the menu, I would always focus on my fingers. So you can see my fingers really clear and a really blurry mini. So, I'll leave this guy here. I think I'm going to mark where I want this guy to be. Yeah, I just want to mark it. I'm just lucky we get out of work early on Fridays to do some things, and now we're here. But I'm gonna take them off. Am I using super glue or regular glue? Well, if I want to work fast, I think I want to work super glue. We're just gonna apply this liberally here. That should be way more than enough to do the job. I'll apply this here like so. Push down on it. I got some fingerprints on there, I'm sure. That's alright. Make sure I got this the way I want it. There you go. Oh, knew it. That's the one thing about super glue. Oh, and I want to keep it on the base. It's all about that base, right? Is that the song? So, I think I want. Where's my? There you go. I should have waited a little while longer for this thing to dry. But it's not gonna matter in a minute. I'll put this guy over here. Set this guy aside. And I'm gonna try see what does this do? Liquid green stuff. I have never used it before in my life. So it's just gonna, looks like a hot mess. Yeah, looks like a hot mess. And it looks like I want to use my crappy blue brush to paint this on. Or maybe this guy. I don't care about this brush. So what happens if I take this, right? Oh, I already see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna need this. See how that works. My headlamp's not working, so I'm gonna go in. This is not at all as thick as I probably want it to be when I'm done. So I'm gonna scoop some out. Apply liberally, because I can see what it does now. but it's not. It's neat, but it ain't what I'm looking for. Yeah, I gotta cut the mustard for me. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put this right back up here like this. No, that's not what I want. And hopefully, this stuff is water-based. Oh, but you know what I can do? Where'd that box go? I can start loading up layers of junk on here. Let me see something. Sort of. Sort of, right? Yes, but no. No, but yes. That's fine. Oh, that's why I have that spoon. Keep forgetting I have a spoon. Just for such an occasion. Alright, get this out of here. Go like this. That's not gonna stick because anything here, this green stuff is wet but not wet, but that kind of does what I wanted it to do, but not over here. See, I don't want to mess up my, whatchamacallit, I can do this. I don't know what happened there. That looks like where they snipped this off the, where did that go? Right there. Let's use the rough side. And how that goes. This ain't working right. It might be too dirty. Too used. I need to get a new one. There we go. Now it's starting to work. Alright. Put that over there. It's a little better. I kind of want to do something though. I think I need to. What happens if I go like this? No, that didn't work. I need something round. Like, I already foresee I'm going to model the freaking base here. I'm going to take What happens if I do this? That needs more gunk in order to see what I'm trying to do. You will understand. No, that's not working. I think I need. What if I pour this junk out there? That ain't working. Because there's like this. This is going to turn into not good. Okay. Alright, I'm going in with my fingers. Probably a mistake. But this needs to stay on here. And the reason I say that is, okay, so I can't have that freaking giant ball of green stuff there because my guy is going to be sitting right there. So this kind of took it down to the plastic. So this is too watery to do what I want. It's neat. But too watery. I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. But that's not what I wanted to do. Liquid green stuff is not what I want to do with this. Alright, so now I need another napkin. I think I need actual green stuff. And I don't care about you mixes. I don't care that much. Let's see what happens. Whoa! Top heavy. Alright. We don't want to get grass from Earth or from Middle Earth or wherever the guy's from onto our. Alright, so green stuff is some yellow stuff and blue stuff, a 2-part epoxy that you will cut or take equal parts of and mix together to turn green and then use to fill or mold or even sculpt minis. I've seen it done. I'm just gonna get this plastic off of here. I think that's, I think I'm gonna need more than that, but let's see what happens. The same amount of yellow. stuff. Now I knead it together. Right. So you see the blue and the yellow go together and they make a green. And I'm kind of hurrying this process up. I should not. I should let that dry before I go any further. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna like, yeah, look at that. That's great because I want kind of like a dry terrain. So this will work. But I have a feeling that this is going to be better. So I want to kind of have a ridge like at the edge of a crater, but this base is too small to show a full crater like what I want. So I want to kind of like mold it and then apply it. I'm pretty sure I can mold it on this plastic and get it the way I want it, and then apply it after the fact. Right? So I'm going to take this guy and make a ridge. It's kind of sticky already. So if I take this guy and make, that's pretty big. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was. That's fine. I take this guy and put a ridge on here, right? A ridge like what I'm thinking, which is not what's happening. I need to do something like that. Alright, so I need to work my fingers to keep this from sticking to my fingers. And once I do that, look at that, it's a whole other ball game. Once I wet my fingers, it does not affect me as much. I'm not too worried about messing up, because all this stuff that I'm using I can just strip right off with either stripper or some other stuff. So none of this is, you know, it's like hitting the undo button, right? It'll take some time, but that's alright. I don't mind. So my problem is that this is not sticking to the base on this side, but I don't think it will while I'm doing this and while I've got it so wet. So I'm going to take this and form it over here, which kind of fills in that. Right? You see that? I'm going to form this over here. Maybe if I add some material to it, it might help. Stick it down, but I kind of like keeping my bases clean. So I'll do something like that. Right? I can go in and take this guy. Using the back side. I'm not going to use the knife side, although I'm having second thoughts already. But I'm going to go like this. I'm kind of, whoops, see, that's kind of what I was afraid of. And I almost cut my finger. Yeah, I can see that this is not gonna stick even after it dries, I don't think. And this here needs to be off the tripod. So if I were to just start pulling things down, oh, I stuck to my finger again. I think I need some more light, like that. Now, back in the day, I'd be using paper mache for this, but I'm again hurrying myself through the process and just kind of like using what I've got. So I don't want to have a bunch of fingerprints on here. I've got an idea after the fact though. See about oh, that's annoying, but you know what? It's a natural occurring thing. It's not perfect, so if I can maybe just do that. I mean, you know, take this extra stuff and put it over here just to ease the edge off the base. Well, I know I have more time to play with this green stuff, but it seems to be hardening faster than I want it to, or is it just me? I'm gonna do this. This is probably painful for anybody who knows how to do this correctly to watch, but I don't think there's any real rules, you know. I think as long as you got how you get there. And so I'm a little messy, so what can I tell you? I'll put this guy over here. Well, I just wanted it to fit in that spot, so if I'm filling what I want to fill, I'm happy with that. I don't know what that's happening here. Okay. You know what might happen is I might, yeah. I might go back and fill those little holes in after the fact and let this dry till tomorrow. And I don't even know if my guy fits here now, so hold on. Does he fit? Yeah. Yeah, he fits. So, that's fine. I think that's what's going to happen. He fits, but does all this shit fit? Oh, excuse my French. There you go. There you go. I just want to clean the edge. I'm not using the knife because I don't want to cut the base. If I wet this like this, looks like I just take it off. There you go. So then, after that happens, I'm going to paint all that stuff that red color, right? But I want to, this guy should go back in the jar so he doesn't get hurt or messed up. This guy I can use maybe to kind of like move stuff around. Oh, there you go. That's funny. So I'm going to have to seal this bottom, all this material that I've put on the base here, because a lot of it is loose and I don't know that it's going to stay after it dries. And I have an idea for what I'm going to do to seal that. This, I keep messing with this. I don't just want to have a smooth end. I kind of want it to be like that. So if I go how's that? Looks like I just keep messing it up and messing it up more. Oh, great. I'm going to scrape off the paint before I'm even done painting it. This guy needs to go in here. Put him on like that, let him dry like that. And just score it. Like that. I'm able to move this whole thing out. Alright. Well guys, I mean, it's not a long video, but I got a lot done. This looks really weird right now, but I suspect that it'll be alright when I'm finished. And thanks for hanging out with me. Here, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at having a Space Marine. I want him to be like that. So he's gonna, I already found a place for him, so he's gonna be like that. Looks like I got green stuff on the missiles. Put this down. I'm not too worried about it because I'm going to come back and paint all this. I am worried about this X-Acto knife. Getting super dirty. That's what I get. Alright, so this is what we got so far. Our hero, the Space Marine, will be manning this rocket launcher in the not too distant future on an alien world terrain that we've smashed together here today. And so what I want to do is when this dries, I'm probably just going to go over everything with some Elmer's glue and let that dry so it just seals that whole base as one piece. Then I can paint it and do whatever I want with it. Finish up this guy, do some details on the controllers, and I don't know if I'll type some wording on the missile, or not type, but paint some wording on the missiles, and we'll see what happens. That's enough for tonight, guys. I've got to run some errands. I'm glad you came by with me the short time I had to fit some hobbying in, and I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.